All right, welcome back. This is the Something Ventured podcast. I am Kent Lindstrom. I am your host. Today, part 2 of my conversation with Shaun Tai of Oakland Digital, Oakland Digital Arts and Literacy Center, or Oakland Digital for short. Great conversation. If you missed the first part, go back and listen to it. We started last week. This will conclude our conversation, and it's a good one. This is the Something Ventured podcast. I'm Kent Lindstrom. Thanks for listening.
Since then, like one of my most proud moments is just this idea that Black people and Asian people should work together in Oakland, and we're
Right.
very powerful communities, and we need to work together. And so, if you look at the constituents of Oakland Digital, we're inclusive of every color.
Yep.
And we never wanted to be, and shout out to the board of Oakland Digital, we never want to be a group that says only Black, only Asian, only Latino. And I'm very proud of that. It's not great for funding because people like to fund that singular kind of movements, but I'm very proud of that. We were never trying to be a gimmick. We're just trying to help people.
So the now isn't the perception that Asian is not it doesn't have as difficult a time as African American?
Oh man,
or Latino?
Asians.
I'll say it.
There's a lot of trauma in Asian communities. There's Cambodian.
Mm-hmm.
There's Southeast Vietnamese. Even a lot of Chinese. You can't just say you're Chinese and you're privileged. But I will say one thing about Asian people in general is they have very strong communities. Mm-hmm. And that is something that might give us a leg up. But in terms of opportunity, we don't always have opportunity. But I also believe that in the real world, you need to be able to work with different people.
Yeah, that's right.
Different races. And that's another reason why we don't want to push one race only. Because when you're working in the workforce, not just tech, you're working with people of all colors. Yeah. Or hopefully in the future, more color.
That's amazing. Your mom was an entrepreneur, basically, right?
Oh, she still is. She still is, and she got robbed at gunpoint in her store in 2010. Yeah, and so 2 guys came in, and this is actually right when Oakland Digital started. 2 guys came in, and one had a gun to her head, one had a gun to her chest. And for 30 minutes, they basically terrorized her. Yeah. And so since then, she never was able to kind of get back on her feet. She just retired this year.
Yeah, that would shake anybody up.
Yeah. And it shook me up to the point where I didn't want to continue Oakland Digital.
Were you mad at somebody or mad at Oakland? Or?
I was mad that the robbers, these thugs, could be stupid enough to think a furniture store would have cash.
Right.
I'm like, when's the last time you went to even IKEA with cash? I mean, and this is a high end, but it also helped me be more compassionate, have more empathy, understand that young people need opportunities.
Yeah, that's right.
And at the end of the day, it fueled me more. And then it's gotten us to this point of assessing the needs in the community. And of course now, 2016, really pushing forward Bridge for Social Good.
Yeah. That's amazing. Your mom, I think about that sometimes when I'm driving around and, I'm so proud I'm an entrepreneur and I've raised money and all this. You drive down the street, you're like, every dry cleaner, donut shop, whatever.
Sure.
Some guy, some woman started that thing, made it cash flow positive, is dealing with, there's entrepreneurs. It's I look at my dry cleaner. Like, that's pretty.
It's a hustle.
It's pretty impressive.
It's a hustle.
You figured it out. You got your family working there. You're paying bills. You're paying for your family. Everyone's an entrepreneur. We shouldn't really pat ourselves on the back for starting a .com necessarily.
Small business in general, I have a really big heart for. We're talking about Oakland gentrification, the big G. We support the mom and pops businesses that have been around for 10, 15, 20 years. Yeah. Something like a Road of Braids. Road of Braids is located right in the heart of it's called Hipster Town. Uptown Oakland. And she's one of the remaining businesses there, Black women owned. And how do we keep those businesses going? And unfortunately, they need to get online, get digital.
So San Francisco imported all the hipsters over to Oakland.
Yeah, they're coming. They're coming. The chrome backpacks and the tight jeans with the flannel shirts, and I hate to say it, white guys. And I keep it real. I tell Tim all the time, Tim Rosenblatt. Yeah. I always tell people, he's like, if techies could replicate Tim, there would be no tech problem. Right. Because he's like, Shaun, I don't get this. I don't understand the community. Can I contribute? Can I help? Yeah. How do I get involved? If every person was like Tim, there would be no problem. And I really mean that because he looks like what I just described. But his heart, his compassion, that is what we need in tech. It's about the employees themselves wanting to give back, wanting to learn, wanting to contribute to society and the communities that they're quote unquote gentrifying.
Yeah, it's tough. I watch it in San Francisco, and I've worked it with different nonprofits like throughout my career, so I kind of get a sense of it's not that easy.
Right.
And there's so in San Francisco, tech companies, including Twitter, but a bunch of tech companies San Francisco has an area that's it's bad. It's what you call it Skid Row if you were living in the 40s or something. I don't know what you call it. And they've plopped down big, fancy, high-tech companies there with high-paid employees.
Sure.
These areas are the areas where a lot of the services are. A lot of homeless people have sort of mental issues that they're dealing with.
Mental health consumers.
Mental health.
Yeah.
And so the mental health organizations are there and all that.
Yep.
And you kind of watch these interactions of these tech guys walking by these people, just kind of a little oblivious. Like the headphones are in, they're not really watching.
Yep.
If they see what's going on, it's not clear they understand they're watching a pretty severe mental health crisis in some cases. So it's not, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about Twitter, and we're actually the only Oakland nonprofit that Twitter has kind of worked with.
That's cool.
For their Friday for Good initiative.
Yeah.
And I do want to shout them out for that. It's every quarter they have all their employees do something for a Friday for good, essentially.
Yep.
And so they've helped our businesses. They've helped some of their students. We most recently worked with them for Bridge. We had a nice kind of brainstorm session at Twitter. And I say that to say that the employees that I've met are great people.
Yeah.
But even some of those employees at Twitter, to avoid some of the areas, they will literally take the muni to avoid walking past people.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're kind of getting to. And I think the only way tech can be more diversified, both with people of color, with women, it's really going to be led by the employees themselves.
Yep.
It's going to take those employees to say, you know what, I think we should have a more diverse team.
Yeah.
And it's not going to come from the people that go to the same diversity conferences, you and I all know, diversity in tech, and it's the same tired, what did Khalid say? Dinosaurs that keep talking and talking and talking, and they don't want to do anything. I'm like the anti-talk. I'm like, let's just do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just get it done. Get her done.
So what is the path? So from hip-hop budding mogul, you take the fork to Oakland Digital. How did that
oh man,
starting a nonprofit?
Here's the thing: is that like most people that start nonprofits, it's from a CSR perspective, corporate social responsibility.
Right.
It's like, okay, this company bought out that company.
I practically fell asleep just hearing those words.
So we need to start this nonprofit that's going to bridge the digital divide. How are you going to do that? We're going to discount our internet services, and it's like, we're going to give out P4 computers that don't work anymore. Yeah. We're gonna, very old school, archaic solution.
Yep.
So I got to shout out Google.org.
Yep.
Because they're like, Shaun, what you're trying to do is a moonshot.
Yeah.
We have never seen a nonprofit try to do some kind of web app to connect these groups. And it is a freaking moonshot, but that's why we're trying to do it.
And what is Google.org?
Google.org is the philanthropic arm of Google. They have two separate kind of giving arms. Mm-hmm. One is through the Bay Area Impact Challenge, which is more of a contest, if you will. It's people voting for their favorite causes, which we did not want to be in.
Okay.
And then they also have a Google portfolio.
Yeah.
And what that is they pick 5 or 6 groups each year to make an investment in. And so we're in the Google portfolio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
shout out to Justin.
So they're pretty good.
And Chelsea.
One of the things you get in Silicon Valley that's like the hubris of Silicon Valley is that people will give money, and rather than giving money, they're like, I've got a new idea about how to give money.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're kind of like, these nonprofits, they're professionals, many of them. They've been doing it, aside from Bill Gates and he's very advanced, but...
Oh, yeah, his shit's mind-blowing.
These guys have been like... they're trying to give soup to people who need soup.
Absolutely, yeah.
Your new idea about how to incentivize and motivate... They're there because they're pretty passionate about it.
Yeah.
Just give them the mon's money.
It's kind of like it's like the coding thing. If it's hot and it's generating income, they're going to do it. That's the thing is like, oh, we need more engineers. Why? Because we need to hire more engineers. Okay, so let's get people of color in it. And it's like, and again, I appreciate the thought, I appreciate the effort, but that. Like, you don't got the answers. That ain't the answer.
Yeah.
Because I just told you 10 times, we're trying to find a coder.
Yeah.
Shaun at odalc.org. Hit me up, SHAUN at odalc.org. We're looking for engineers, specifically of color, going to these groups, and they don't have the answers.
Yeah.
Well, what did you get that $1 million for?
Right.
Well, okay, well, tell me where's the track record of success? Well, we won't see it for 20 years. Well, it's not the answer.
Exactly.
Now, I do give props to anyone, again, trying to make change, and I love it. But hey, I just know what I see on the streets, and that's what we're trying to do here at Oakland Digital. And, Bridge for Social Good, I'm shouting you out right now because I'm like, yo, Kent, can you please hop on this Google Hangout? Friendster was revolutionary. I want Bridge for Social Good to be revolutionary, so who better to have than Kent Lindstrom on the team?
Oakland, where'd the design part come in? So specifically, Oakland Digital, let's say I am a customer. I'm a
small business.
Okay, great.
You're a small business.
And what do I...
Okay,
take me through that guy.
Yeah. You're a small business, and you've been in business for 10 years. You don't have a logo created. In fact, it's a brush script that you went to when Kinko's existed. They created it for you. Their designer went on Microsoft Word, printed it out, and gave it to you.
Yeah.
You don't have any brand guidelines. You don't have a font. You don't have colors. You don't even have a social media presence. You might have a website that was built for free by some company, some DIY site, website. And here's a fire truck. We hear about 5 of these every day.
Oh, yeah? That's good. They're keeping the place from burning down.
Hey, the city, hey, Oakland keeps it real.
Good work, guys.
Oakland is original. So we keep it original.
That's good.
So you're a business. I've been through worse things than sirens.
Yeah.
So you're a business, and you just are so behind because you don't have the time. You don't have the income to invest in a full-time marketing person. Right. Well, luckily for you, you have Oakland Digital.
Right.
And what Oakland Digital does, we work with 5 local community colleges: Laney, Berkeley City College, Diablo Valley, Chabot, Mission, and we work with their graphic design departments. So every year we go and pitch to these departments and we say, hey, we want you guys to work for Oakland Digital. The first project is Inspire Oakland. Create a billboard for us. And on top of that, we're going to throw 6 of your designs on billboards to inspire the entire city of Oakland. So we have 20 billboards up. Everything from topics like Black Lives Matter, everything from anti-gentrification, everything from the lake. So very PC things too. But it's all created by students. Once they get the bug, I'm a designer. Then we take 10 of them and they intern here at Oakland Digital. So that's what Dawes was one of those interns. And now she's bossing it up, doing work right now for our fundraiser. And that's how you do it. Now, then Bridge for Social Good is the missing element. Yeah. How do we keep that relationship going on longer? How do we cultivate that young person's skills to the point in a year?
Yeah.
Once they have 20 more clients, they're ready for the workforce. That's how you do change. So it's not this, learn this and you'll be a millionaire.
So these are designers, not engineers.
Designers.
Yeah.
100% designers. And I'd say 80% women, 95% people of color. In fact, I tell people we have a diversity problem, so we hired one white guy. And that's really true. And shout out to Andrew. I love Andrew. He's a good guy. But he was our diversity kind of person that we needed to get on board to make it inclusive.
Yeah, well, and not that this is the reason to do anything, but we just went through hiring a designer.
Oh, great.
Oh, well, we outsourced it.
But you still hired one.
It couldn't be less interesting, except like, holy crap, there's money in that.
Oh, my gosh.
Because we couldn't figure out how to pay this person enough to get them from the other guy who couldn't figure out how to pay them enough.
UI, user interface, user experience, visual designer, general graphic designer. You start off as a junior graphic designer in the marketing world, art director, creative director, illustrators.
Yeah.
There's tons of things. Even people, shout out to Lisa Tsai, who just joined the Bridge for Social Good advisory team. She's a designer at Facebook. She just started out sketching.
Yep.
So to say an artist can't get a job in tech, Lisa's living proof,
Yeah.
And it's all about the mindset, man. I can't stress that enough. It's how do you get these young people out of their whatever they're thinking the work world is, and how do you make them entrepreneurial minded, but also willing to work in a team. Yeah. I was at another panel where the HR heads of Google, Pandora, and Kaiser were at. And the crowd was made up of teachers, and the teachers asked the Google HR person, what are you guys looking for at Google? Every young kid wants to work at Google. I don't know if that's true either. And he said, well, we're looking for, can they speak English well? I mean, think of it, like super fundamental thing. Yeah. Can they communicate? Can they work in a team? Mm-hmm. Can they collaborate? Can they collaborate real time in a team virtually? Yeah. And none of those things were coding or design. Yeah. So that's kind of what that internship process does. And what we want to build into Bridge is goals. So you complete 5 tasks, great. Now you can get something that's $100. Yeah. You complete 10, now you get something that's $500. Oh, wait, you're formerly incarcerated? you should build up your portfolio to show your track record that you are trustworthy.
Yep.
So when you pull up the BFSG, bridgeforsocialgood.org/Shaun Tai, hey, I had 30 clients in the past year. Right. I've made this much money. Here's who I'm connected to. Here are the businesses I've worked with. Here's my recommendations. Here's my feedback. All these things that we want built, I think can be very revolutionary, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like 99 designs. There's things that you can hire a designer. It's for social good for that reason.
Yeah.
We want to encourage local economies to blossom from those two.
Yeah, I do feel like there's a relatively big, I don't know what you call it, like a cold start issue. As we interview people out of colleges, there used to be a thing where you'd go work at like Deloitte or a management training program or something. So you'd kind of get how business worked. Yeah. Like you kind of got to be there every day and you don't always get your way and like just some basic stuff.
Yeah, very fundamental. Yeah.
And it feels like now we meet people come right out of school and they're really smart and stuff like that, but they're not that oriented to like a business where you're like, we need to get this done. And some of this is fun and some of this is not fun and some of this you don't agree with.
Yep.
But let's get on with it.
What, in your opinion, Kent, makes a good employee?
Well, for me,
that's a deep question.
Energy and passion.
Like, dude, I love that.
Like for me,
I love that.
When somebody shows up and they're like, I'm just like so good. I mean, basically competent, but everyone's competent.
Yeah.
You see all these companies like, I want a rock star. I want a genius. I want like what? I don't know.
Well, what's a rock star? Like give them a guitar?
Yeah, right. They do drugs and they're,
they have a guitar and
they drink a lot. Like, I don't know. Like, it's somebody who basically understands it, but is psyched to be there.
Yeah.
Because when you're a CEO, the worst is when you've got an employee who's kind of like smart, but they're like, I don't know why we're doing this. And low, and I can't be in today. I'm tired.
Then what inspires you, Kent? What inspires you? What inspires you, man?
Well, so building companies.
Building companies.
It's the most amazing thing to me that somebody like our founder, founded Friendster, founded Nuzzle, Jonathan Abrams, like thinks up shit, puts it on the web, and then all over the world, people say my life is better because of your thing. Like that's pretty cool. That's consumer internet.
Sure.
That's just all. I just think that's really cool.
So when you're building something like Bridge for Social Good, what do you do first?
I mean, you hire people who are excited about it. It seems to me.
And in terms of the actual platform, what do you do? And this is actually advice for your people listening too.
Yeah.
So you build this platform, then what?
Well, I mean,
what do you do? Do you recruit the students? Do you recruit the businesses?
You recruit both. I mean, that's the hard thing.
Yeah.
Distribution is the hard thing.
Distribution. Right.
And this is the constant. I mean, we deal with it. Everyone deals with it. Like, think about how many apps people actually use of all these thousands of companies. And there's so many beautiful things, beautiful platforms, beautiful ideas that nobody experiences. So there's kind of two stages. You think about it. Does anybody give a damn about your app, your platform, your product? Like, is there one human being who says, if that was gone, I'd be sad? When Pinterest raised money initially, thousands of people, but not millions. But whoever invested, I think it was Benchmark, the people were using the crap out of it. And they were like, okay, if these people are using the crap out of it, there's a billion people who use the crap out of it. So if your platform has like one company and one student who's like, this is transformative, you're in good shape. Then distribution is the key. Like if you went to San Francisco and said, have you heard of Oakland Digital? Probably not.
Yeah.
So then you get into the mode of doing what we're doing now. Like the more people hear about it, one podcast, one TV show, one email. Over time, one guy hears about it, two guys, and it's just hard.
And all of a sudden, you have Kent Lindstrom in your office.
And it's yeah,
that's pretty bad.
Yeah, I noticed they blocked off the streets for me. That was
they did.
But you know what? I think like having been at Friendster, that was a rocket ship. But everything else I've done with this, it's elbow grease. It's like you get, it's like you think about politicians when they're starting out, and they're in Iowa at some coffee shop, and no one's looking at them before they're Bill Clinton. Hey, I got an idea, and then I do it the next day and the next day, and then one day they're at a rally, and then one day they're at something. But if you build it, they will come doesn't really work.
No.
You got to be out there.
I don't want a legacy app, and this is a great. I want to see where we go in a year from now.
Yeah, and
it's scary. It's scary, but I'm excited. I'm stoked.
And the same for careers too. I think kids who figure out that your career is like a political campaign. You're out meeting people and meeting people and meeting people, and it's crazy what paths it can take.
We were just talking about over lunch. The proper way to network.
Oh yeah,
and I can't tell you at these events that I go to, the serial networker.
Yeah,
you know them.
Yeah,
they're at every single event, and they offer absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
I just cannot stand that.
Yeah, it's hard. Like I'm not great at it, but I sense what to do.
And number 2, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
See, I wasn't lying.
Hey,
I'm keeping it real.
Oakland is safe.
Hey, Oakland is real.
Yeah,
Oakland is real. Don't buy that house in West Oakland, y'all. If you ain't ready for it.
Oh, I want to ask you.
If you ain't ready.
Yeah, I want to wrap up on Oakland Digital and then I ask you a little about Oakland if I could.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because it fascinates me.
So with it.
But what was the path to Google coming along and giving you this amazing respect, money, but respect too.
Good leadership on Google's part, by the way. Yeah. So we had two board members, Allison Bernstein and Chelsea Seabron.
Because Google is not in Oakland. It's not based in Oakland. At least. They may have an office here.
It's honestly, it's been 6 years on the ground, on the street level, not having the capacity to fundraise, but just doing cool ass shit. Just doing shit that no one can think of. We brought Google to Oakland to our City Hall event to educate entrepreneurs in 2012, when people in Oakland, quite honestly, didn't even care about Google. Now everything, tech in Oakland. We were doing this in 2009. Get your facts straight, bruh. Like we've been doing this since 2009. We've been keeping it real. We've been holding it down in Oakland. And I got to take credit for it. Oakland Digital, we put the stake down. Like we think this digital literacy, this tech stuff is gonna be big. When no one else believed in it. We remember when I rolled up into Ron Dellum's office in 2008, and he was a former mayor. Sorry about that.
Sure.
And I'm like, I got to plug in, and I met actually my laptop into a projector. And they're like, oh. Here's the power AC. Like they didn't even have a projector in the city of Oakland. Now, it just to say like how far we've come. Mentally as a community. There's hackathons in Oakland. There's the Impact Hub. There's things like that. There's Visco. Shout out to Visco. Joel Flory. He's here. It's like an Instagram app, a better version of Instagram.
Right.
And so this whole idea that Oakland is now tech. It's not tech yet. I really worry. Personally, this is just my personal opinion. I worry about tech coming to Oakland in the sense that once that person gets robbed at gunpoint, once 2 engineers get robbed at gunpoint, once 3, and it's going to happen.
Right.
And I'm just being real. My mom was robbed in her store. She's been in the community for 45 years. I think it's one of those growing pains where if the people and the companies, the people running these companies don't respect the community first, and I don't mean by throwing money, because that's been done for decades, but like a Tim, like an Allison, like a Chelsea, they're in these companies that are volunteering long-term, making a real investment, non-monetary, into these organizations, into a community. That's the only way it's going to work. So just by getting the 19th and Broadway building, putting them on the 7th floor, and never talking to the community, like kind of like SF or replication. It's going to be not a good look. Not a good look.
It's interesting. There's 2 different theories. So one of the things these tech companies do, they move into city centers. Great. That's cool. And then for valid reasons, they have lunch brought in every day, so people don't go out to the
I don't know if the reasons are valid. But
for business, they're trying to
keep them in there on their Wi-Fi. And stuff.
Pretty much. As I understand it, though, Mark Benioff, who is the chairman of Salesforce, founder of Salesforce,
donor of Oakland Digital, by the way.
Okay, great, and a huge benefactor in San Francisco. His thesis is actually no, he doesn't want to actually have lunch, and he wants people to go out and spend their money in the local community.
I was at this TechCrunch, one of their TechCrunch things. Shout out to TechCrunch. We got a runner-up for their TechCrunch Include initiative, which is helping nonprofits. But I got a ticket to one of their events, and Mark Benioff was presenting at the end.
Great.
They gave him some award. And at the end, he was trying to talk about his 1-1-1 model. It's like 1% equity, 1%.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And he's talking about giving back and no claps, like crickets.
Interesting.
And I give him so much props because every time he speaks, I don't care if people think he's legitimate or not. I know he's legit. He's always talking about giving back. He's always talking about just mentally. He gave a cool story about, I think it's Oracle before, right? He's working at Oracle. He said, I was driving a Ferrari in my 20s. And I didn't feel fulfilled till now I'm giving back. Giving back legitimately makes him feel fulfilled. Shout out to that. I love that. I love it.
And there's the thing I like about him too. A lot of times, tech people think a lot of themselves, and they try to solve global problems, which is important.
Very important.
health in Africa and all kinds of things. But Mark Benioff is also like, hey, like right here at home.
Yeah,
it ain't perfect. So
Benioff Children's Hospital, Oakland.
Yeah, right. So he's like, before you give money all over, also give money to figuring out, because it's more. These problems halfway around the world that you're not involved in. Think about it.
Yes.
How you deal with a terminally, mentally ill, homeless person who's indigent. Now you got a challenge.
He was brought up something else, is that a lot of people don't understand the Occupy and the Black Lives Matter movement.
Okay.
It's very scary to a lot of people in general. And I will say that...
Are those all related?
I would say that it's standing up for people that don't have voices.
Okay, right.
Standing up for injustices. I will say, we had our windows smashed. We've had tons of windows smashed all over because during Occupy. That's shitty.
Yeah.
But getting murdered is shittier.
Yeah.
And I will say what it did was it sparked and evoked conversation, what we're having right now, which is very, very important. Why I'm bringing it up right now. That's what the movement's doing. I would never have brought this up. Yeah. So here's for everyone that doesn't understand why people are marching for Black Lives Matter, why people are pushing for that. So I'm on the corner here at the Vietnamese restaurant, 1 block from here. And I'm sitting there with 3 of my colleagues, and I look out the window and I see clearly a lady in her 50s, very mentally distraught, makeup all over her face, mental health consumer, a bag with a bunch of recycled bottles. And then the owners are like, speaking in Vietnamese, like, get her out of here. And, I'm watching, and they call the police. The police come down. And I have to tell you, Kent, these were the best police I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah.
They waited. They were very polite to her. Yep. People had cell phone. I had my cell phone out ready to go. Yeah. Point is that after 30 minutes, they didn't lay a hand on her. They treated her with respect. Yeah. She left. She did cry because it was very hurtful for her, but she didn't get attacked. She didn't get even a hand on her. They called another woman police officer. The point of me bringing that up is 10 years ago, that probably wouldn't have happened like that. Yeah. The patience, the compassion, allowing her to be who she is. Yeah. And that's the kind of thing that these movements do, is it brings attention to injustices and make sure they don't happen again.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. Like, bad cops are the worst, for sure. Right. But some of these good cops, I saw something like that in San Francisco recently, where somebody was having a thing, clearly mentally ill, saying things that I wouldn't be able to cope with. I'd be
absolutely.
Like, oh, screw
yeah.
But 3 cops standing at the respectful distance, speaking calmly, like, Jesus.
Yeah, and
good
so
for you guys.
And again, it is a part of the digital revolution.
Yeah,
because everything's so real time. We know the whole story, Twitter, etc. Yeah. I'm very neutral because I have to be neutral because we're a nonprofit. We can't take sides. We can't be politics. And all that. But my heart says it's good that we talk about things that make us feel uncomfortable. Yeah. And so shout out to anyone doing it correctly and really all for the Black Lives Matter movement.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Let me finish up on this. I want to ask you about Oakland.
Yeah. Well, Black Lives Matter is Oakland.
Well, it's Oakland. So for those of you who don't live in the Bay Area, you do. San Francisco is great. It's this kind of it's what 20 minutes from Oakland by the freeway, and it's really nice, but it's freaking freezing. And foggy most of the time. Yeah. Oakland across the bay is on the hills, beautiful views, beautiful city. Like why isn't Oakland more inevitable?
I think Oakland
and everyone in San Francisco can't find housing to save their lives. Yeah. And can't seem to kind of put the math together.
No, I mean, everyone that I mentioned, Allison, Chelsea, they're all they're Oakland transplants, right? So they do live in Oakland now. Yeah. Why did they choose Oakland? Because it's original as hell, man. Like it's the hip hop history here is dope. The cultural movements is dope. They're dope. We're in Oakland, Chinatown. Right. Super dope place to be. East Oakland, West Oakland, North Oakland, Sobrani Park, and all these beautiful places with lots of history. But it is Oakland. It is the town. And I would implore that anyone that comes to Oakland, I love Oakland. I am Oakland. I inspire Oakland. I want to promote Oakland. But in the words of young people, they're like, people haven't seen the whole Oakland. Right. So if you don't know the whole Oakland, Lake Merritt's not Oakland.
Mm-hmm. Lake Merritt's the nice part.
It is quote unquote the nice part that they put a lot of money into. A nice part. So I mean, I love Oakland. So don't get me wrong, and I encourage people to come here. But like what you're doing, Kent, you're asking about it. You're interested in it. Yeah. I just want everyone that does come to Oakland to really take some time to understand Oakland, the good and the bad, and then you can make an informed decision. It's like Amazon, right?
Right.
Why do they have third-party marketplaces? To make the best decision.
Yeah.
Come here, make the best decision, invest. Don't just go to Lake Merritt and don't just go eat in Uptown. You know, invest in some of those parts.
Okay, that's what I do.
Oh,
I got to admit, I come over here.
Okay.
I'm like, well, you know, today like I'll lunch at some Vietnamese place, but I come over here, I go to like some bar.
Yeah,
it's the most lovely thing I've ever been
Mad
to.
Oak
The
or
weather's
something.
nice. I'm like, why am I living in San Francisco?
Yeah, you know, and I appreciate the honesty, man. You know, it's you know, I think that's cool that you do that, but I think it's also cool that you're asking me, and I think that's the biggest difference. It's like you're, you know, I always think like Tim. Why do I love Tim? Because he's like you. He's like, you're asking questions. You're admitting you don't know it, and you want to know.
Like, what does it get a little more real at night, or what is the?
I would just say that the underserved and under-resourced communities in Oakland have not seen the benefits of what we see here.
Right.
And the benefits that we see here are kicking people. Like, for example, rent's going from 1,000 and now 3,000. And my brother's a broker, and shout out to Wilson Tai, and he sees the price increases and all of that, and he tells me all the time those are pushing out and gentrifying people. Okay, and so you know I'm very sensitive about that too, because we help a lot of under-resourced people, and people tell us, man, this doesn't even feel like West Oakland anymore. I had one of our board members who lives in East Oakland say they saw hipsters in sandals on bikes in East Oakland, and we're talking about in the part that's like deep, they call it the Deep East, which is like traditionally very black, very Latinos and the Fruitvale. These areas are being gentrified. So again, if you're just riding past this community on a bike and sandals, people won't like you. If you shop in that neighborhood,
same in San Francisco.
So like all it takes is a little compassion from you. All it takes is talking to people. All it takes is understanding the history. Just like rappers, new rappers, you know what they say? Or the OGs, they call them, like the older rappers say, you got to learn your history, bro. Like you got to like pay some dues,
show some respect,
show some respect. You just said it, and so you know I got my wristband here. Respect, show some respect to the real Oakland, and then you can go to the lake and kick it.
All right. So what's the great like part of like what's the place I should be moving in? Like in San Francisco, you should probably move to the Bayview now.
You know, I haven't been looking into the housing.
What's the real estate tip?
Oh man, you got to ask my brother for that. Wilson Tai, Google Wilson Tai, and he'll tell you. I would just leave the whole Oakland thing and just say I love Oakland. It's very original. Respect that originality.
So what's the if you are from San Francisco or you're visiting San Francisco and you're going to come to Oakland? What do you do? You come to the Fox Theater for a show?
You probably go to Uptown Oakland. You hit up the bar scene. You come out here, you hit up the lake. And lake and Uptown are super. First Friday is another one.
I mean, is there anything you could go to that's a little more native Oakland than that?
Yoshi's is an OG spot. I know the owner Yoshi. She's cool.
I gotta spend
Jack London's another big one where they have a lot of things. I mean, I'm not saying come here and you know you have to do something, but again, just come with respect. Just like anyone, it's our community. The key word is our community.
That's great.
So we gotta you know show respect to our community.
Respect. That's great. I feel like we've done this thing. What do you think?
I think so too.
This is good. This has been fantastic.
Oh man, you know,
I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to.
We just interviewed, I personally interviewed the president of Laney College, which is the biggest community college here in Oakland, and I asked her for advice. And she told me, I would tell everyone that that think they don't have the answers, that the answers already lie inside you. You know, you just got to pull those out. And I think that's the same that I would tell everyone else. Is like, you have the answers in you. But how do you make sure that people know you have the answers? How do you make sure that how you can vocalize that? And this was the best interview ever.
It was.
And you know, I think
broadcasting history.
Bridge for Social Good, I know is the answer to connect young people that are creatives to some real opportunity while helping the businesses get some stuff they really need to survive and thrive in this digital economy.
So the housekeeping, how do people get in touch or connect to these things?
Man,
we've given you a lot of words.
At Shaun _Tai at SHAUN_Tai TAI. You can call me 925-297-9370. I have it on all my social media anyways. Cool. I just feel like I don't even care. Hit me up.
So Shaun Tai is
SHAUN. Yes.
And then Tai
is TAI. And then the underscore in between them. So Shaun _Tai. Google Oakland Digital. Please, if you're an engineer or you want to get involved with Bridge for Social Good, definitely get a hold of me as well. And
cool.
And yeah, that's basically it, man. And I appreciate what you're doing. I look up to you because we need this to be a Friendster, if not better. You know?
Well, it's going to be.
Yeah, and my advice for everyone out there, again, I think the key word here is show respect. Cool. Respect wherever you go. Respect the people you work with, and also teamwork makes the dream work.
All right. All right. Respect. Thank you so much for doing this. This has been the Something Venture podcast. I'm Kent Lindstrom. Thank you very much.
Peace.